Evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. What's my head? Just me. What's going on? Is that my hair? Smash that like button right now. You know you're gonna have a good time. Maybe that's just my hair. Yeah, it's just my hair. Okay. False alarm. I know I started about a minute or two late. My bad. Just running a little bit behind right now. It's humid. It's not hot, but it's humid. And you never really notice that till about 6:30, about a half hour before I go live. So yeah. And then my hair wants some extra attention right there. Okay. Pardon me, just fidgeting a little bit. But yeah, come on in, get comfy. Uh yeah, just running a little bit behind today. Like I was saying, I did a little a test stream just before this. Oh no, my camera. Ew, hang on. There we go. Yeah, this looked fine for the test stream, and now it's fine. Okay, enough of that. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Pulled it all together for the test stream, and now it's all falling back apart. Let me get my screens open up. Uh, yeah, it was just, we had an extra day off from the show, and I wanted to do a balcony chat, but I just couldn't for health reasons. I'm not dying or anything. Just, I guess I'm pushing myself too hard and I don't realize it. And I'm looking through my subscriptions for my own channel. And I just have to stop and realize I'm, pushing myself too hard. I need to cut myself some slack, maybe find a better way of doing things so I can. I'm, as much as I need to pay attention to my health, I really am so pissed off that I did not do a show on Thursday. I do have a lot of stuff I would like to talk about for a balcony chat. But yeah, it's again, if anybody's going to ignore health issues, then I'm that one. And it's it's better than a an anxiety attack or I don't want to go there. Um a nervous breakdown, but it's still enough to make me stop and take notice, like, hey, whatever you're doing needs to be done differently, because apparently it's just I'm stressing myself out with the move. And I'm realizing now there's like fucking hole. I mean, like, I know there's holes in the wall, but I'll be sitting here and I can literally feel a breeze as if there's a teeny tiny window open because of the fucking holes in the wall. And then it'll be 68 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't do 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That is too fucking cold. That's hoodie weather. I'm not going to wear my hoodie in the goddamn house. And you cover up the holes, it's still breezy. You turn on the heat, it escapes that quickly. But if it's humid, it sticks. I just, but I got my work done. I got my work done so I can be here for you guys. Now I got the chat room open. So what is up to Want to Go To and Dandy and Thomas Collins and Lisa Gray and NT, and that's not what their handle says, but that's what I know them as. Let me just read some comments here. Yeah, smash that like button. Thank you. I hit another milestone for subs last week, then it dropped down. Now it's back to where it was. So things even out. Want to Go To says, you look marvelous and sound nice too. Yeah, for as crummy as I've been feeling, I look okay. I guess that works out. And everybody is saying hi. Lisa Grain says that your health is most important. You must prioritize good vibes surrounding you right now. Yeah, thank you. It's just, yeah, because just from my old working days, you let things go by and suffer through painful stuff for so long, and maybe that's why I've got the health problems I've got now. That's why my vision is bad. I was looking at two white mode screens for 3 years, and now my eyes are damaged for life, and all kinds of bad stuff. So it's plus you don't realize when you're getting older you need to take better care of yourself. At least I don't, and so it's so it doesn't snowball into something worse. I just had to. It's not like I had to cancel a show I had already set up. So at least there's that. It's not like I was canceling an already set up balcony chat or a Saturday show. Then I would have really, that probably would have stressed me out more. But it was just an extra show where I could or could not have done. And it's just so, it's not like I really, it's not like I had to call off for a shift. So, but I just need to take it easier on myself. Plus, with the we had about 2 solid days where it was just roasting. If it was 30 degrees Celsius outside, it was 30 degrees Celsius inside, and I can't really. I could put. I didn't even have proper fans. I do now, but like a box fan, I can really only put one in one of the windows because it gets so bright, and so there's that's it can only do so much. And I mean, you can drink all the water and you can lie around, but basically you're just up and awake, wasting energy being awake, not doing anything. And then suddenly when it does cool down and you can eat after the sun sets, a few hours go by and you're tired and ready to go to bed, so you're not getting anything done. So I'm like, okay, I'll just stay up all night so I can work then, which is fine. I mean, as long as I'm getting some work time in, it's fine if it's at night because I'm nocturnal anyway. Um, it just this week just got me so far behind. So, but I got everything done that I needed to. Lisa Gray says 68 is a dream for me. Ha, yeah, it's if it was like if it was like hot every day, like 90 Fahrenheit every day, and then it got down to 68 at night, that would be great. But it'll be like 15 degrees Celsius, which I know I'm jumping between Celsius and Fahrenheit, but and then it'll be it'll be 10 degrees warmer inside than it is outside, so it'll be like 57 outside and 67 inside. That's not okay for me. It just May is not supposed to be like this. Can it just get to about like 20 Celsius, which is just in the low 70s Fahrenheit, and just stay there? I don't just getting used to this is just too much. But I'm here. Everybody's here. Oh, want to go to says, please everyone consider enabling all messages. Yeah, go up to the top where it says, it starts with top chat, but select live chat. For me, it's the second option. That way you can see what everybody is saying. I need to grab a, I'm going to grab my energy drink. There we go. That's healthy. I did watch my last show back. It turned out so well being close to the microphone. It picked up my yelling at Willie Loomis, so that worked out. Lisa Gray says incessant rain here. Ugh, weeks and weeks of it. Oh my God. Maybe that's why that basement floods so much. You're going to have to put the basement on the roof to stop the flooding. So the last one turned out well as far as my reviews go. The show that we usually go to was off on a Thursday because the host had to go to a wedding. Who gets married on a Thursday? It's a Thursday. That's like getting married at Monday at 3 p.m. Like, can you like wait for the weekend or have it on a Monday so people can take the whole start of the week off at Thursday? Like, I don't know where those people work. I don't know if that's their lucky day. Was that when Gemini started? I Thursday, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I guess I needed the extra time off, so that's okay. But I just after a couple days, I'm like Thursday. What's up, Dandy? If I didn't say hi, why? What? I don't know. It was it somebody's birthday? Why would you want to get married on somebody's birthday? I don't know those people. I don't know if it's a like a superstitious thing. Maybe they work the kind of jobs where they can't just take off whenever, and they both happen to have a Thursday off. I don't know. I don't know. I just after the fact, I'm like, wait, what? But more power to them. Happy marriage again. It's nice to see people getting together and all that good stuff. Lisa Gray says I got married at 8:30 in the morning, so we wouldn't miss a good fishing time. See, now that makes sense. That kind of, you're gonna be up early anyway. You're gonna be excited. They say that you're supposed to get married at a time when like the hour is pointing towards like the upper part of the clock. Like you don't want to be getting married at 6 p.m. when it's pointing downward. So like okay, 2 p.m. Maybe not exactly at noon. Maybe people want to eat lunch first. I don't know if you're too nervous to eat that day or what, but oh, I hit my knee. Cancel the show. Oh my god. No, it's fine. But see, that makes sense. You're keeping nature in mind, or what if you are both very nocturnal and you want to get married at 2 a.m. Who's up at 2 a.m. besides you guys? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. And T says, who does what they say these days anymore? I mean, like people can get married, whenever. Like, hey, my grandparents got married on a Thursday, and they were married for 80 years, so that's what we're gonna do. So maybe it's a weird superstition thing. I'm fine. I'm superstitious as well. Uh, I always said that I would get married in April just because I don't have any holidays in April. Uh, I mean, there's like birthdays and other things, but just me personally, I don't have any religious holidays in April, so I just sometime in April, that's fine. Doesn't necessarily have to be Aries or Taurus. Thursday, though. What happens on a Thursday? Like, Ray Still Plays will upload his membership videos, but like, do you want to play it for everybody in attendance? So, like, hold on, let's roll out the smart TV, and because it's not always at the same time, so okay, I maybe that's a Thursday as their lucky day, so I don't know, but Thursday. It's fine. It's fine. There's weirder. It's not like these people who get married on say Halloween. Ooh, how red and black was the wedding gown? How many Jack Skellington tattoos did she have? Just don't be lame. And don't wear green to a wedding. That's bad luck. Check out Xander and Anya's wedding on Buffy the Vampire Slayer if you want further evidence of that. Recap. I know I'm rambling a bit. I'm happy to see you guys. Okay. A recap. And like today I got up at 2, so it's maybe that's why I'm running a little bit behind. Let me open up my own show. I'm not trying premium. Never pay for a free app. I'm already in here. You want me to pay to get farther inside? No. Like I don't care how Irish you are. Don't wear green to that wedding. Don't if I see somebody showing up wearing green, your ass is going out. You're not gonna jinx my wedding. Oh no. If you want to give me cash, do it after the wedding. I know that's green, but just no. So to recap the last review, so Maggie was found. She was up at Eagle Hill Cemetery, and the only reason anybody knew that is because Victoria got a mysterious anonymous phone call And then later on, there was a thunderstorm and the power went out. And Barnabas just decided that was a good time to tell Carolyn and Victoria a story about a girl who threw herself off of a cliff after her lover bit her on the neck. Never heard of that happening before. So the last thing we saw was Barnabas finding out that Victoria did get a phone call, and Barnabas didn't have to think too hard about who that was from. And Jason was telling him to just get rid of Willie Loomis. He's up to something. I don't know what, but you should just get rid of him. So Barnabas comes home. Thunderstorm's still going on, and he's screaming for Willie. The man is nowhere nearby. Probably still has a headache from getting his like the side of his face is just effed up, and it's so hard to see a man that pretty get his face effed up that bad. It's really sad. But that's the last thing we saw. Barnabas coming home, screaming for Willie. So now we pick up on episode 234. This aired on May 18th, 1967. And we're still in day 64. It is nighttime. We're in the drawing room. Got a prop for this review. Not right now, but later. Danny Willie was messed up. Yeah, I was not expecting, dude just got, oh man, like the whole half of his left half of his face is just, no, he's got to do everything in profile for a minute. That is bad. I'm sure his ears are ringing, his head's hurting. But that's what we open up with. Willie is down on the floor, and he's holding on to shirt collar like he's just scared and wants to hold on to something. And he's looking up, and we see Barnabas, and Barnabas is standing over him, holding his cane. Barnabas says, "I hope your tongue is looser." Willie says, "I didn't do it." Barnabas, "I beg your pardon." Willie sort of pushes himself up. He stands up. He says, "I said I didn't do it." Barnabas, "I hope I don't hear correctly. Did you say you didn't do it?" Willie says, "I didn't." Barnabas, careful, raises his cane up. Says, "I'll have to loosen your tongue even further. All I want you to do is to admit it." Willie says, "No, don't, please." Barnabas, "A phone call was made to Miss Winters." Willie, "I didn't do it." Barnabas, "No one else could have. You told them Maggie was at Eagle Hill Cemetery. You also allowed your friend Jason to follow you to the cemetery." Willie, "I didn't know he was following me." Barnabas, "You got him asking questions." Willie, "I couldn't help it." Barnabas, "I don't like people asking questions, and I like even less the people who inspire the questions." Willie, "Well, I didn't tell him anything." Barnabas, "I still say I dislike people who break a trust. You broke a great trust when you told Victoria that Maggie could be found at Eagle Hill." And he takes the cane, he puts it up underneath Willie's, like Willie's backed up against the fireplace, against the mantle there, and Barnabas has like the cane, it's shaped like that, right up under the man's chin. Willie says, "I won't do anything wrong. I promise I won't." Barnabas tells him, "I believe you, But I'm afraid you must do something about your friend Jason McGuire. Tell him not to come around here anymore and ask him to stop his stupid questions. Willie, I told him that. Barnabas, well, then you must tell him more effectively. Willie, how? I've done all I can to make him stop. Barnabas, I hate to think that's true. Willie says, I'll talk to him. I'll see he stays away. Barnabas, don't allow your persuasions to arouse any further suspicions. And don't do anything that might attract anyone to your dealings with Jason. I consider the problem entirely yours. Willie leaves the room. He gives Barnabas some privacy. Do I move this just to the side a bit? Yeah, just to the side a little bit. There we go. Right in the middle of the shot. I'm not in the middle of the screen when I look at myself, so I have to make everything big for a second. Tap, tap, tap. So the whole time that thunderstorm was going on to make it even creepier. But then we're over at the Evans cottage. We're in Maggie's room. And, it's nighttime, so she's feeling okay. She opens up those French doors. And you know how it is when a storm's just ended, it's a little bit cool out. That's totally the vibe I'm getting. Because Maggie even says it. It's the storm's over. And her dad's right there. Sam comes walking up. It's like, oh, that was quite a story that Victoria told me. She said she actually thought she saw someone standing at these windows. Maggie, well, I think when the doors flew open, it scared her so much, her imagination got the better of her. Sam says, well, why don't you get some sleep? Maggie says, it's cool and clear now. I'm wide awake. I'm much better. I want to go out. Sam closes the doors up. Walks her back to bed like, no. It's like, just try and get a little bit of rest. Guides her over to bed. And he sits down in the chair next to the bed there. He says, I'll be right here. Maggie says, all right. She gets to bed. I'll try. Just sleep. No dreams. And then we get a real quick shot. We see Barnabas standing at like from the outside on the porch. We see Barnabas standing at the window looking outside. It's never good when he's looking out those windows. But then it's the next morning, so we're in day 65. It's morning, and Maggie's lying in bed. She looks fine. But Dr. Woodard's there. He's just examining her, checking her vitals, like pulse and all that stuff. And Maggie's saying, I'm really much better. Can I go to work today? Sam says, not so fast. So Dr. Woodard tells her, just rest. That's what you need. Does your neck bother you? Those wounds, are they irritated? Maggie's, I forgot all about them. They don't bother me at all. So the doctor says, well, I'll check on you in a day or two. Maggie says, in a day or two? I'll be up and around by then. So Sam says to the doctor, Dave, I'll see you to the door. So he's got a first name now. He's Dave Woodard. Trying to humanize the guy. They finally have the actor locked in, so maybe they feel comfortable giving him a first name. So they walk out. They leave Maggie sitting in bed, and she's just sort of like she's not messing with the wounds on her neck, but she's got her hand just up there on the collar of her nightgown. So it's Sam and the doctor. They're in the living room there, and Sam is asking, like, "Do you have any idea what's wrong with her?" Dr. Woodard says, "I don't know, but I hope I'll know more when those blood tests come back. In the meantime, make sure she gets plenty of rest, keep her on those meds I gave you, and make sure someone is with her all of the time. When I'm sure the sleepwalking is over, I won't be so on about making sure someone is always with her." Sam asks him, "Do you think the sleepwalking, do you think it's something psychological?" Doctor says, "No. I think Maggie is a very stable young woman. If she keeps improving, then we can stop worrying about her. She does seem like she's getting better." Sam says, "I can't help but feel you're still worried about something." Doctor says, "Those punctures on her neck are puzzling." So Sam asks, "Do you see any connection with those cuts and her condition?" Dr. Woodard says, "Just only that it happened when she was sleepwalking." So he really has no idea. So now we're still in the Evans cottage, but it's later on. It's nighttime now, and Sam is there, and so is Victoria. "Oh, what's up, John Rogers? Glad you made it." Sam is telling her, "You know what? I hate to impose on you, but well, like Maggie said, we need the cash. You know, just gotta go out and keep painting." So Victoria asks, "How is she?" Sam, "Much better, but you might find her a bit restless. She hates to have anyone with her." Victoria, "That's understandable. I won't leave her alone for a minute." So then we see Maggie in her room. She's sitting up in bed and she's got a magazine and she's flipping through it, but she's not even she's like here's the magazine and she's flipping the pages, but she's looking up and around. Like I'm sure she's been through it 30 times already. She's bored as hell. Like she doesn't have her smartphone there, so she's just sick of being. She's used to being up and around. She's been stuck in bed for days, so I can see how she would be restless. But Victoria walks in and she asks how Maggie's doing. She says, "Is my father gone?" Victoria, "Yes. I wish Barnabas would change his habits. It's an awful imposition to make your father work at night." He says, "So you'll be staying with me until he gets back?" "Thank you." "What's the matter? You look scared." "Maggie, I'm all right. I'm much better. I don't see why someone has to stay in, or why I have to stay in bed when there's nothing wrong with me." Victoria says, "You need to relax. Just calm down. How about some more milk?" Maggie, "No, I don't want anything." Yes, that would be nice." So Victoria, "Okay, I'll be right back." And Maggie's like, "No, don't go. Don't leave me. Not for a minute. No matter what I do, no matter what I say." Victoria asks her, like, "Why can't you tell me why you're so afraid?" Maggie says, "Promise me you won't leave me." "It's nothing. I'm all right." And she's glancing at those doors every once in a while, like something's gonna come through it. Oh, is my audio doing something weird? I knew this one. Did you hear the sirens just a second ago? Hold on. Go to phone show and then play it on the TV. Where's my water? Oh, right here. Never had the TV on with just the light that it casts. Oh, yes. That would be nice. Victoria, okay, I'll be right back. And then he's like, no, don't go. Don't leave me, not for a minute. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I do, no matter what I say. I think I'm just too far away from the microphone. Did it pick up the sirens? Yeah, I think about a third of those are just about a third to a half of those are just overreacting. Yeah, that's just I must be moving too far away from the microphone when I talk. Okay. I can fix that. Just got to get closer to this thing. Thanks for saying something. No. Yeah, it's like the audio sort of gets thin and then comes back in, and then it thins out and comes back in. Yeah, the episode that I did, not the last one, but the one before, it kept doing that a lot. I was too far away from the microphone then. Okay, I just got to get closer to the sink. That's okay. Thank you. Okay, so we're in the drawing room, and Barnabas is sitting there, being painted. But it's like something just distracts him, so he just stands up and wanders over to the window while, Sam's painting. Doesn't say anything, he just stands up. So Sam says, I guess we both need a break. I can't get this shading right. Barnabas seems to realizing he stood up. Like I'm terribly sorry to interrupt this way. We can continue if you want to. Sam, no, it's no good. Oh, there's no sense in you sitting in that chair. Barnabas heads back over to the chair. He says, we'll just leave it and work on another part of the portrait. Sam, no, I don't work that way. When I'm stuck on something, I fuss with it until I get it right. Then we hear that howling off in the distance. Barnabas mentions how beautiful the night seems. He excuses himself to go for a walk. And Sam is just so busy concentrating on getting the shading, like he doesn't say anything to Barnabas. He does. It's as if he's the only person in the room. Doesn't even look at the man. He's just busy working away. So it's kind of funny. We've never seen Barnabas get ignored before, but it sort of is. So like he's saying his line. He's being himself with all the mood and the atmosphere, and it's Sam just not even a glance in his direction. So Barnabas just announces he's leaving, grabs his coat, heads out, and then just Sam is he's just working. He's a lefty. Again, they don't mean to be funny, but if you stop and think about it for a second, it's funny. Like such as this, and just Sam's just working away. So later on, Willie comes in from the outside. He's got his jacket on, and he sees Sam there working. He asks him, is Mr. Collins up in his room? Sam just, needs to play. Lisa Gray ass lefties are in her right mind. Exactly. Yeah, they got a different way of doing stuff. Willie walks up to Sam a little bit closer. He says, Mr. Collins, where is he? He didn't go out, did he? Sam, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, maybe he did. Willie, did he say how long he might be gone? When did he go out? How long ago? Sam says, look, can't you see I'm trying to do some work? Willie says, your daughter. Heard you was well. Now he's got Sam's attention. He said, what? Now you listen to me. Don't you ever mention my daughter's name again. I don't like to be bothered when I'm working. Willie says, I only wanted to know, is your daughter sick? Sam grabs him by the jacket to get his attention. He said, didn't you hear me? I said, don't mention her name. I mean, to be fair, he doesn't say her name. He just says his daughter. But I get it. Like, all you've ever done is sexually harass her. Don't be talking about her. Oh no, it's my pen running out. I use it up anyway. We got a lot of left-handed people here too. Yeah, Dandy's a lefty. Oh, Lisa says that her dad was ambidextrous. Oh, what's up to Brian if I didn't say hi? My bad. I might have been in the middle of a line. Gotta turn your notebook the other way when you're writing and all that. But we're over in Maggie's bedroom now. She's having a nightmare. She's just tossing and turning. So Victoria gets up and kind of goes over to her, just sort of puts her hands on her shoulders to sort of to get her to hold still, just something. It seems like she'll be sleeping just fine, then all of a sudden she just starts like twitching and moaning and all this stuff like that. So Victoria's just trying to get her to settle. Maggie wakes up. She says, I refuse to be treated like something's wrong with me. I've had about all I can stand. Whereas, like, I don't understand. A minute ago, you were sleeping so peacefully. We hear that howling outside. Maggie says, I'm not a child. There's no reason for you to be here. Why don't you go home? Tori says, I promised your father. What's the sound? That howling, can't you hear it? It's getting closer. Maggie, I don't hear a thing. You're so scared. Why don't you leave? Victoria, I'm not scared. I want to stay with you. Maggie, why? Because I don't go along with this idea that I'm sick? Why don't you leave? Victoria said, I can't. They're getting closer. Look. We see the doors, like we know they're closed or locked or something, but it's like somebody is standing on the outside of it, like pulling on the handles, like these doors are shaking back and forth, something fierce. Like we can't see that somebody's out there, but we see those doors being, pulled back and forth. So there's definitely a person out there. It's not. I would imagine if it's a dog or a critter or something like that, it wouldn't be pulled out so forcefully. Maybe pushed in, but not pulled out. But it's like there's a person out there. But we hear that like that dog growling, snarling sound. It got closer and closer. Maggie's totally calm. Victoria is freaking out. So Victoria said, "Something's trying to get in. Go away." And she starts crying. She's like, "I got to get help." Runs out of the room. Again, Maggie's super chill now. She's just looking over at the doors, not panicking or nothing. So Victoria is in the living room now. She's on the phone. She's crying. She's like, "Burke, you've got to come over here. Just get over here quick." And as she's saying that, Maggie's bedroom door, it just slams shut. So Victoria hangs up the phone. She runs over. Like she's pounded on the door. She's trying the handle. It's not moving for nothing. She's like, "Maggie, please let me in. Can't you hear me?" And we see Maggie in her room just for about a couple seconds. She's up by the bed. She's just standing there. It's like she's looking at the door, but she's not trying to let Victoria in. Just totally calm. So we're back out there with Victoria. She's screaming, she's crying, she's banging on the door. This is so scary because what they do is, like, she's screaming to get let in, she's crying, and then the scene cuts to black, but we can still hear Victoria crying. And there's something about hearing like the crying continue into the screen going black that's just so extra creepy and sad, and I'm so scared for Victoria. It's like a great you really have to watch it. It's like as scary as it is, it's really good editing. And that's how they just end the episode, and we see the drawing room for the credits. Oh, like I'm so scared for Victoria. She doesn't really. I don't think she's been this upset since she was locked in that room. When David locked her in that room in Collinwood, and she was, crying, banging on the door. It's like that. It's almost worse. Anybody else is left-handed? I tried writing with my left hand before. I am definitely not ambidextrous. To make my B's a different way, and it's just there's no. It does not look like my. I don't know how ambidextrous people do it. Like, is their handwriting the same with both hands, or is the right hand writing a completely different way than the left hand? But it's not to make fun of anybody who had a stroke, but it looked like I had a stroke when I was writing with my left hand. Like you would think I was just learning English for the first time, the way my handwriting looked. And that was maybe about 20 years ago. I do make my left hand do stuff because otherwise it's getting a free ride at the end of my wrist. And since it has to do less, it's skinnier. Like, you're gonna do some work, you skinny bitch. I could not do the clasp on a watch to wear it on my left wrist the way a right-handed person would. So I would always wear my watch on my right wrist the way a left-handed person would, because my right hand could not figure out the clasp for nothing, but my left hand could. So I just did it like that. And then when I play Minecraft when I'm fishing, I've probably mentioned this before, but I'll take the mouse and I'll put it on the other side of the keyboard so I can give my right hand a break from clicking, because all I have to do is click one button to reel in the line and recast. So I just have to think, okay, I just use my index finger on my left hand, and so I'm just clicking that while I'm fishing, and that takes, I don't know how long it takes, a couple songs. And so that's all it has to do. Like, I'm slowly thinking how to go into the menu and move some things around so I can see how many fish I'm getting, but on the whole, it's just like index finger, index finger, because it's the opposite for the other. Oh well, that's how my right-handed writing looks. I'm like, so I had a buddy who's Apparently, his dad was ambidextrous. I never saw his handwriting. Try writing with my left hand in case my right hand gets tired. Oh no, I have to concentrate on every last thing I'm doing. It just I'm making my O as the other. I didn't know it was not working. I do like writing by hand. I think that's why I like doing these. Like miss writing by hand, but it does not. Danny, my right hand does control the computer mouse. So yeah, like I wondered what that with left-handed people, like do you put it on the other side of the computer and just think to use the other buttons, or do you go into the configuration and set it so right click is left click and vice versa? I don't know. I just do you just like deal with right-handed stuff the way you have to deal with right-handed stuff most of the other time? I don't know. But I'll just notice when people are left-handed, like, why are they reaching for that with their other hand? What's wrong with their right hand that they can't reach? Oh, they're lefty. Oh, do stuff the other way. Okay. And I just start watching, like, how do they do that with the oh, there's a knife and everything. So when you're in your car, do you have to think to turn? I did. I'm getting a bit silly, but yeah, that's interesting. How do you play video games when you have to WASD with your a dominant hand, and then because you can't use your left hand to walk around and use the mouse, so you have to use your right hand. But if I can use my left hand to walk around, there's no reason why right-handed. Yeah, I think about that too much sometimes. Lisa Gray says, in high school, I had a friend who could write with both hands, and the left hand wrote everything exactly the same, except it was mirrored. Crazy. Whoa. That's a trip. Writing their name backwards. Oh, it's fine. Just hold up a mirror and you can read it. Didn't Da Vinci or one of those have to do that? That's a trip. Brian says, save here holding a fishing pole and a few other things. LOL, no way riding. Yeah, just like, is it easier for left-handed people to drive than you in the UK because the steering wheel and everything is on the other side of the car? I don't know. I know English people, but I don't know if they're left-handed. But anyway, now we're on to episode 245. Ugh, this aired on May 19th, 1967. We're still in day 65. It's nighttime, and we're in the Evans cottage. We're picking up right where we left off with Victoria. Like, she's crying, she's banging on the door for Maggie to let her in. Door's not budging at all. And she's so scared. It's like, Maggie, why won't you answer me? But just then there's a knock at the front door, so Victoria runs over to the door, opens it up, and it's Burke. Victoria says, something's in there with Maggie. I left her in the room for a minute, and now it's locked from the inside. Mark walks up to the door, he knocks on it, yells for Maggie, no answer. So he starts throwing himself into the door. It takes about 2 or 3 times, throwing himself against the door. Finally, it bursts open. Lights are off in the room. So Bart walks in, he looks at the bed. Victoria's like, what is it? Burke's like, stay back. He's trying to hold her back, but it doesn't work. Victoria sees, she screams. And we see what she's seeing. It's Maggie's lying on the bed, sort of at an angle. So her head is closer to the camera. And her neck has, like, yeah, she's got those holes in it, but then they've also got a little bit of blood trickling from them. And the doors are open, and there's that howling outside. So then later on that night, Dr. Woodard's there. Maggie's lying in bed. She's completely asleep. She's not lying crossways on it. She's actually lying in bed properly now. But the doctor who's got the blood pressure cuff on her, and Victoria's sitting right there. She says, "What happened to her?" Dr. Woodard says, "All I know is she lost a tremendous amount of blood. Those wounds reopened. They look like bite marks from a large dog. Got to get her to the hospital." He's got to phone the ambulance. So he gets up, he's out of the room. Victoria's just sitting there watching Maggie. Dr. Woodard, he's dialing the phone right when Sam comes walking in. Burke went to get him, so he's right there behind him. But Sam walks in. How is she, doctor? Dr. Woodard tells her, I'm calling an ambulance. She's that bad. Sam heads right for Maggie's room, and Victoria sees him. She's like, "Well, I'm glad you're here. Did Burke tell you what happened?" Sam, he told me. Shouldn't have left her here tonight. How long has she been like this? Victoria, she was that way when we found her. Sam, she hasn't come around once. Those things on her neck reopen. Something, something did this. Something human. He gets really close to Maggie. He's like grabbing her. Again, she's asleep, but he's grabbing onto her arms. He's just that close to her. Maggie, look at me. Open your eyes and look at me. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Maggie! He's so scared. I like this episode, but it's really tough. So the doctor comes in to tell them that the ambulance is on the way. Sam says, "Why doesn't she move? Why doesn't she open her eyes?" Dr. Woodard says, "I'm doing all I can for her." So he's got to check some more vitals. So Sam and Victoria, they leave the room. Dr. Woodard takes her pulse. So then Sam is sitting down, and it like there's the sofa, and then there's the chair that's kind of opposite the door to Maggie's room. Sam's just sitting there, and he's just so Burke's back at the table pouring a drink. Like, "You want a drink, Sam? You look like you could use one." Hands it to him, and Sam doesn't want anything. So Victoria tells him that she says, "I heard the howling, and it got closer, and then it was banging on the windows. So I ran out to call Burke over, and when I got back to the room, the door was locked from the inside." Sam says, "How room? The windows weren't broken. What could want to harm Maggie? She's got to be all right." Burke says she will be. Doctor comes out. He says, "Well, pretty sure those neck wounds are her only injury. She's gonna need another transfusion." Sam says, "How sick is she? What kind of chance do you give her?" He's not really saying anything. So Sam says, "Well, can't you make a guess? That's my daughter in there." Dr. Woodard says, "If she makes it through the night, she's got a pretty good chance." Sam says, "So you mean it's possible she might not make it through the night?" Just then we hear the lights and sirens. pull up. And as I was taking notes for this, don't you know, an ambulance went by last night whenever I was doing this. So I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my God, drive it in. Dr. Wood says we're going to do everything we can for her. Got to believe that. And he says he can't hold a fork either. Yeah, I've tried eating with my offhand. It's just, I mean, it's one thing like when you're like cutting your meat and eating with a fork, but if I were to just sort of maybe eat a bowl of cereal and be like, oh, okay, I don't want to spill this. Why is my hand so shaky like it's the first time I've eaten? Right? It says I can hold a fork with my right hand, but it gets messy. I'm just like stabbing the person next to me. It's up in the ceiling. Why are our brains wired like that? We can do things so well with one hand, but then you try to do it with the other, and it's like you're 3 years old. I guess it hasn't had any training. Maybe if you trained your other hand the way you trained your dominant hand, it would pick it up eventually. I don't know. Has anybody done that experiment? But now we're in a new location. We're in the Collinsport Hospital. Nobody wants to go to the hospital. But it's just a hospital room. It's got the bed. There's a window in the background, random painting on the wall, a door. Just how you would expect it. It's not the hospital room that looks like the one Liz was in up in Boston. It's the bed's on the other side of the room, but it looks completely different. But Dr. Woodard's there. He's got the stethoscope, listening, and Sam's standing up behind him. There's a nurse there too. She really doesn't have a lot to say yet, but the doctor's saying that her heartbeat's stronger and looks like she's having less difficulty breathing. Sam says, "Yeah, there's a little bit of more color in her cheeks, don't you think?" Dr. Woodard, could be. So just then Joe walks in. Is she okay? Is she going to be all right? And that's when Maggie starts waking up. It's almost like hearing Joe's voice rouses her, or maybe the transfusions kicked in enough that she's waking up. She just moans a little bit, starts waking up. Maggie says, Pop, where? Sam's like, you're all right. You're sick. You're in the hospital. You're going to be all right. He says, Joe, open up her eyes a little bit. She says, I'm glad you're both here. Sam says, of course we are. We're going to stay right here with you. He asks the doctor to give him some privacy, and for a few minutes. So he and the nurse step out. Sam says to her, like, I don't want to upset you, but can you just calmly tell us what happened tonight? Maggie says, tonight? Sam says, after Victoria, or after Vicky left the room. Says, Vicky, she was there. We were talking, and I had a dream. I don't remember what it was. It's the worst nightmare I've ever had. I'm so scared. Can't remember the dream. I don't want to. So they just calm her down. And he says, Joe gets closer to her. She says, I'm sorry I picked those fights. Joe's like, it's all right. She says, Pop, promise me you'll take care of yourself. Don't drink so much. Sam says, "You're going to get well, and then we'll go away. I promise this time." Maggie, "I'm not going to get well. I'm going to die." Sam says, "What kind of crazy talk is that? You're going to get well." Just then the doctor comes in and says Maggie needs her rest. Well, why don't you go home and all this kind of thing? Sam's like, I'm not leaving the hospital. Joe's like, neither am I. Sam says to Maggie, we'll just be waiting outside. Maggie says, goodbye, Pop. Sam says, not goodbye. We'll see you later. You get some rest. So he starts heading out. Maggie says, Joe, I wanted to see you again once more. Joe says, you're going to get well. That's an order. And he leaves too. Joe doesn't seem like the type to cry, but he seems like he's on the verge of tears. He gets out of the room. He's too manly to cry in front of other people, but he leaves too. They get out of the room, and we see a clock there next to the bed. It's 12:10 a.m. So it's the next day. It's day 66. Dr. Woodard says to the nurse that it's as if it's later on. The only real difference now is Maggie's got some kind of loose bandage taped over her neck. They put a couple of drops of like blood on the bandage so you can like as if the blood leaked through, but it's she's got that. Before it was just naked neck, but now it's got a bandage on it. But the doctor is telling the nurse that there's nothing else I can do for her tonight. Just call me if there's the slightest change. And she's not to be left alone for a minute. Make sure that window stays closed. Keep it closed and locked. So he leaves with the nurse in the room. So now we're in another new location. It's the waiting room. It's a couple of chairs. There's a plant. I guess it's a fern. And Joe is sort of sitting in such a way where he's facing the camera more, and Sam is just. It's like the way he was sitting in that chair at his house. He's just you know how it is when somebody you love is sick. You're just still. Joe tries to watch. Sometimes watch like that 'cause it's right-handed. It's almost 2 o'clock. And I think Sam was lost in thought, and that kind of got his attention. But he notices what Joe said. He turns over to him a little bit. He says it's funny. I sat right in the same spot in this same hospital the night that Maggie was born. And I'm sitting here waiting to find out if she's gonna like, tell us something. Why don't they let us know what's going on? Joe says, if there's any change, so let us know. Look, why don't you go home and rest a while, Sam? Sam says, no, I go home. You go home. I've got to stay here. Joe says, no, I can't. I don't want to leave her. That's one scene you really want to watch for yourself because I cannot get through that bit with Sam when I'm watching the show without crying. Oh my god. I am that part right now, but oh man. We're back in Maggie's hospital room. We see that clock, and now it's 3:20 a.m. Maggie starts to wake up a bit. She starts to sit up, and the nurse is, gets up, tries to get her to lie back down. Don't try to talk, just rest quietly. Says, could you open the window? Nurse says, I can't do that. Doctor's orders. He says, I can't breathe. Please, I'll suffocate. The nurse is like, well, just a crack. She goes over to the window, unlocks it. Like, just a crack seems to be about 3 inches, but oh, okay. Just like you could you could stick your hand. I don't know if you could like. I mean, it's enough that like an adult could stick their arm through and open it up. But oh, okay, just a crack is like that much. Oh, okay. But as soon as she does, Maggie seems to like she was choking before, and now she's thank you. It's much better. Now we're back in the waiting room, and Sam is pacing back and forth. Anything happens to her, says nothing's gonna happen to her. Sam stops pacing. He looks at him. He says, look at me when you say that. You're thinking the same thing I am. Joe doesn't say anything, but they both seem to have a bad feeling. So then we're back in the hospital room with Maggie, and she starts sitting up. She's gasping, sort of the way she was when after they brought her back from Eagle Hill Cemetery, and she was saying she couldn't breathe. She starts gasping like that. She sits up. The nurse is right there watching it. Watching it happen. She sits up. She gasps a few times, and then she just collapses right back. She's not moving, not nothing. Her head's all turned to the side and everything. Firstly, Miss Evans, looking for her pulse, got the stethoscope, listening to her heartbeat, and she's, frantic. She leaves the room. She starts to get on the, like the in-house phone to call the doctor. As soon as she picks it up, basically, the doctor's coming in from another door. He was, staying there that night. You've got to come in the room. It's Miss Evans. She stopped breathing. What? So they walk inside. Maggie's gone. The window's wide open. She's not there. The nurse says, "Why? I don't understand. There was every indication that she was dead." And then we hear howling from outside, and we just see that hospital room there for the credits. Window open. Um, drapes blowing in the wind. Howling, no girl who was just there, but basically, like she thought. I think if a nurse thinks you're dead, you're probably like a 90% chance probably dead. So it's not like she rolled off onto the floor and they're like, oh, there she is. No, she's just gone. It's going back reading some comments here. Lisa Gray says, I attempted to brush my teeth with the right hand at times, supposedly. It's good work for the opposite brain hemisphere. I've tried that. It goes so slow trying to brush, and maybe it's easier to do the mouthwash. Mr. Gray says I ended up with toothpaste smeared on my mug though. Yeah. Suddenly you're poking yourself in the face with the toothbrush. And T says right-handed here. I can't throw a ball more than 5 years or shave with my left hand. It's basically there for show and balance at best. Yeah, it's just there to make sure you don't have a nub at the end of your other wrist. Thomas Collins says the creator really got us, huh? Yeah, it's Dandy says vampires don't die, Maggie. Sam's a really good actor. It's like I never don't want to go through this series again. I've been through it a few times, but then there's a few parts and a few episodes that I know I'm gonna have to stop and grab the tissues. And when I started this episode, I didn't realize it was this episode, and then I realized it was this episode. I'm like, oh no, this is the one where Sam makes me cry. And some of the stuff, it's easy to write down and watch, but then I read it back and I feel like I'm gonna start crying. So, Maggie. Brian says I like the windows open too, but I have good screens. Yeah, that's what I need screens for. I got 3 windows and only one of them has a screen. And it's bullshit too because the other windows in the apartment are brand new, but then these are like original. So don't even have. You know what? It's got like the rope to open it up on the side. It's like that for the one, and it doesn't even open up. Like you can push it up all the way, and then it slides down about halfway. That's why I have to get a box fan to shove it in there to open it up farther. Hit us with a sad episode, man. First you're smacking around Willie, now you're hurting Maggie. What the hell, man? Episode 236 was aired on May 22nd, 1967. And it's still day 66. It's nighttime at the hospital. They reshot the end of the last episode with Maggie waking up gasping. Then she collapses. The nurse checks for vitals, goes to call the doctor. There he is. Miss Evans stopped breathing. Walk in. She's just not there. She's not hiding underneath the covers. She didn't fall on the floor. Just totally missing. And the nurse was not out of the room for more than a minute. Like it had to have been 60 seconds at the most. And this girl is just gone. I don't know who holds their breath and runs out of a hospital room. Maggie doesn't seem like the type. She's missing. So the next thing we see, we don't know this right away because it's a lot of tight shots on everybody, but we're like standing up right outside of the hospital room where the nurse called for the doctor. Sam's there. Says, gone? Joe says, you mean she's dead? Dr. Woodard, that's not what I meant. The nurse left the room to call me, and when we walked in, Maggie wasn't there. I'm having the entire hospital and the grounds searched. Joe says, you mean just walking around in some kind of daze? Dr. Woodard, I don't know. Sam says, she's alive? She walked away? Dr. Woodard, I don't see how she could have. Sam says, well, I'm going to go find her. Dr. Woodard tells him I've got the sheriff and the state troopers looking for her. Joe says, I'll go. I think I know where to look. Eagle Hill Cemetery. Dr. Woodard says, I don't think she had the strength to walk there. Sam said, well, she was strong enough to walk out of the hospital. Dr. Woodard says, I'm not sure she did. I said that she was gone. Somebody take her? Dr. Woodard says, I don't know what to think. Oh, what's up, Barton? Glad you made it. Oh, you just missed the sad episode. So Joe's off. He's gonna go up to Eagle Hill Cemetery. He can move faster by himself. So he's like, Sam, stay here. I'm gonna go. I'll be back. Sam turns to the doctor. You think she's dead, don't you? Dr. Woodard tells him that the nurse said she stopped breathing. She can't be dead. If she were, that means someone came into her room. Woodard says, don't even think about it. Sam says, I'm trying not to. What happened to her? Aaron says she's glad she's made it. I'm glad you did too. What's up to Wally? So we see the woods at night, and there's Maggie walking through. And there's that howling going on in the background. She doesn't look all rough like she did the last time she wandered off, but like her hair is brushed. She's got that nice nightgown on, but she's, really not heading anywhere in particular. She just happens to be in the woods at night after she just stopped breathing. So back at the hospital, Sam's sitting there, and the doctor offers him some, here, take these, they'll help. Sam's like, I don't want her to take anything until we find Maggie. He doesn't want any downers right now. Slaps the doctor's hand away, but then he apologizes. I'm laughing because of the next thing. Remember I told you about that time? There's a time where they like just totally shove the teleprompter right into the shot, and you can almost see what's written on it. So Burke shows up. He comes walking in, and a second later, they push the teleprompter into the doorway. We can see it and everything. It's like you can see the words here, and there's a light above it shining on the words so you can read it. And it's this big, tall thing about that high. Teleprompter and I showed up as soon as we could. Maggie, stop breathing. Everyone, give the teleprompter. I know they didn't do it on purpose, but the fact that we just had some like scary stuff happen, and now the very next episode we get a joke. Hold on, I got something. Oh shit! Stop. Um, a second. This is why the show was late. I had to clean my glasses. And it's not just that they roll the teleprompter into the shot and then realize what they did and roll it back. They leave it there for a minute. We get the first shot and Burke walks in and then they push the teleprompter into the shot, but then they sort of freeze and leave it there, which is probably the right thing to do. Like that one time when there was like a guy and the camera pushed into the living room at Collinwood and they just sort of froze like deer in the headlights. That's sort of the right thing to do. And that's what they do with the teleprompter. But they cut to another shot where we can't see it, and then they cut back, and the teleprompter is still there. Like they pulled it back a little bit, but not enough to. It's still in the shot, like it's a character, like it's a cat looking into the room while these guys are talking. That's why I gotta love the show for the little mistakes like that. Burke walks in and like teleprompter. Okay, they're gonna pull it back in the next shot, right? Maybe it was that guy's first day. I don't know. Maybe he missed a page in the script, but well, who's that for? Because who's exactly standing where they can read that? Because I don't know. But like you, you really have to watch. Art says all the hair and fashion is amazing. It really is. How does Maggie's hair look so nice when she's been lying in bed all this time? It must like lift her up, brush her hair, lie her back down. Thomas Collins, love the costumes and set design right here. It's good they're doing something funny like this. As sad as like the last episode made me cry, and now I can almost cry laugh at the mistake. Brian says yes, that's the goal, but they get in anyways. As the dogs will not leave the screen of the the back storm door. Yeah, like if you got animals, even cats, have known to like had a sliding screen door, and they just didn't care because suddenly like it ended up ripping in the corner because they just wanted to get out. And he says, "Oh man, I'll have to look for that when I watch this episode." I've seen the over like you will see the overhead mics or the shadow of them. Sometimes they're like dipping into the shot. But this is the whole on teleprompter as tall as a man or like a short man or a taller woman. And they don't pull it back. They don't like just leave it there, Phil. Just leave it there. Hold still. Hold still. Like the dude was really jumping the gun. I don't know what that's about, but watch episode 235 and then immediately watch 236 and it'll help lighten the heaviness of the previous episode. But getting back to it, Burke walks in. He's like, well, I called earlier and they said Maggie disappeared. Is that true? Sam's there in the room. So Dr. Woodard's like, well, I'll talk to you in the hallway. He's trying to get him out of the room, get him closer to the teleprompter. Sam's like, go ahead, tell it. We don't know whether she's dead or alive. So that's when Joe gets back. So it's all over Eagle Hill and nothing. I don't know where to look next. I just give up like this. Says there's someone who probably knows where she is because someone knew where she was when she was in the cemetery. Sam says, well, we never found out who made that phone call. Burke says, but Victoria had a hunch. Willie Loomis. I doubt he knows, but we should talk to him just the same. So Burke and Joe leave the room. Sam is going to stay in case somebody calls. I says, LOL, yeah, the pets will bust out. The last place I moved into, we had a couple of cats at the time, and the first time the vacuum was ever run, the sliding door was open, but the screen door was closed, and the vacuum started. Next thing I know, crash, look over, the sliding screen door is sort of like hanging off the track because the cats they came back, but they sure did bust down that screen door. Not the screen part, but the whole thing was off the track. So now we're at the old house. We're on the porch. Joe and Burke walk up. There's howling somewhere in the distance. They knock on the door a few times. Barnabas answers, and Burke says, sorry to come banging on your door this hour of the night, but Barnabas invites him in. He's up at night anyway. They go into the drawing room, and Joe asks, or he says, we'd like to talk to Willie Loomis. Barnabas says, well, I'm terribly sorry he's not here. I sent him into Bangor this evening, and he's going to be doing some work for me there in the morning. He's not expected back until tomorrow evening. Joe says, "Are you sure he went? Or something happened and we think he may be involved. Maggie's disappeared." This says, "Well, I heard she was desperately ill. What could this possibly have to do with Willie?" Says, "You remember when Maggie was found up at Eagle Hill?" Burke says, "She was found there because of a phone call. We think Willie had something to do with it." Joe says that he talked to Victoria not long before, and he seemed upset that Maggie was alone. Barnabas, was he now? That's impossible. I remember that night. Willie was with me, and as you know, we have no telephone. I sent uh I sent him a message to deliver to Mr. Evans, and he was back here almost immediately. I'm convinced Willie was involved in nothing that doesn't pertain to my business. Like, how do you think he was involved? Do you think he abducted her? Joe, no, not really. Barnabas, I'm very sorry that Willie can't be, or very sorry that Willie can be of no help whatsoever. So the guys start to walk out a little bit, but then Burke stops. He's like, "Wait, I thought I heard a board creaking like someone walking on it." Barnabas, "That's impossible. I'm the only one here. This house is forever creaking in the winds. Good night. Let me know if I can be of any help." Good night, I leave. Barnabas walks back into the drawing room. He says, "It's all right. They've gone. You're safe here with me." And from the doors across the way, Maggie comes walking out. She's fine. She doesn't seem sleepy. She's not really smiling, but she's just there. Thomas Collins says they were chewing on the boom operator. Yeah. Maybe the teleprompter guy was lighting a cigarette and he wasn't paying attention. But now we're in a new location. We're gonna find out in a couple of seconds. This is Josette's room. It's there. There's a bed with a canopy. Yeah, the candles are lit. There's flowers, curtains, marble fireplace. It definitely looks like a lady's room. Barnabas walks in and gestures over at the door. He says, "Come in. Don't be afraid. This is your room." Maggie walks in and she looks around like she's never been there before. She hasn't. And who did her hair? Because her hair it's like in the hospital, it was just brushed and it had a little bow in it. Now it's got a thicker ribbon, all because she's got the bangs, so like that's where like the bow for the ribbon is, and it's like you can see it all going like that. And then her hair, it's still going down her back, but it's been curled like when you take a curling iron and just wrap the hair around to make curls, and it's like that all in the back. Who did that? Was Willie back there? Was Barnabas doing her hair? I don't think Maggie's got it together enough to be doing her hair right now. It's not a wig, so who did her hair? I guess we're not supposed to think about that. Oh, yeah, Maggie's kind of Josette. Yeah, they do bear a resemblance to each other. I would say. She's got these, it's almost like a cap sleeve sort of dress, and maybe it's the same color, but it looks like a ribbon tied around the waist in a bow, this very flowy nightgown esque dress on. Barnabas closes the door, says, "See, it's just as we left it. Long, long ago. Nothing has changed. Even we haven't changed. Well, perhaps you've changed. You're more lovely, my dear Josette, than I remember. So just then, Maggie, sits down in front of the armoire. It's got a mirror on it, so she can see herself. She says, Josette? Barnabas, yes. From now on, that will be your name. A name of great beauty, and you must take it proudly. It is bestowed on you as the best honor I can pay to a mortal woman. In time, you will begin to think like her, act like you will become her. And Maggie's very much in a daze. Again, she's not really sleepy, but it's like she's on something. Like maybe she's under a spell. Not she's not thinking. She's just repeating words back. She's looking at herself in the mirror. She says, I will become her. Barnabas, that's right. The two of us. We shall experience the joy that was denied for so many, many years. Maggie says, joy. Barnabas, yes, joy, happiness, at last. I've forgiven you. Well, not you, but Josette. She should have never dashed herself on the rocks beneath the cliff. She should have never robbed herself, or she should have never robbed me of herself. I wanted to give her life, not death. Just as it is life, I will give to you. Maggie's life. So you mustn't be afraid. Not life as most men know it, but it is life, and we will live together, the two of us. Maggie, two of us together. Barnabas, yes, nothing will separate us ever again. Even you tried to. Even Josette tried to. But you are here now, and you were my Josette. He goes to kiss her hand, but he gets her hand so close to him and she pulls her hand out of his. She says, Eagle Hill. Barnabas, you must forget all of that. Forget the past. We have the future for the first time. And I have something for you. So he walks over to the bed. There's this giant chest there. He opens it up and he takes out this gown, this dress, this really light fabric, kind of shiny, really delicate looking. But he picks it up carefully and he's handing it to her. He says, it survived the years as we have survived. There, hold it. It is a wedding gown. Your wedding gown. Maggie, mine? It was yours. And someday soon you shall be my bride. Maggie's bride? As it was always intended to be. So he takes the dress back from her and he lies it down very carefully on the bed. But then he looks over at Maggie and she's kind of in the shadows. Well, Barnabas walks up to her. He's like, those tears? Oh, please, no tears. There mustn't be any tears ever. You're going to be happy here. Wait, I have something else for you. He goes to the table in the middle of the room and he picks up this. It's about this big. It's about I don't know, maybe like 4 inches tall. It's a cylinder. It's this container. It's got a lid, and he picks it up and he winds up the bottom. It's we get to see it closer later on, but for now this is just all we can really make out. But he holds it up. He says, "I brought this with me back from the Orient. I intended to give it to you on a very special day, and that day has come. This has crossed the seas as I have crossed the centuries, all for your sake. Listen." He opens the lid on the top, and this music box tune starts playing. I think it's pretty. I like it. If you don't, you better get used to it because you're gonna hear it a lot. No, it's a cute little tune. It's not like Easy Street from The Walking Dead, but it's this pretty little music box tune, and Maggie's just listening to it. Barnabas says, "Do you hear it? This is your music. Listen to it, and the past will fade away to nothing, not even a memory. Listen, and you will forget what you have been and yearn for only what you are now. Listen, all fears, all loneliness, all unhappiness will disappear forever. Listen." And she seems to like the music. She's not covering up her ears or anything. She's just, the only time she really seemed to be upset is when Barnabas said bride. But we see Josette's room for the credits. Okay, good. Maggie's not dead. What the hell, man? I don't care how much nice stuff you give to somebody, it's still not cool to abduct them. Put this on the charger. No, I'm not. I'm gonna wait a bit. Wait, no, yes, I am. Yeah, that way if I have to redo this episode, I can just do it next week. Charger. Okay. What's up, Beach Chap? Glad you made it. Oh, let's see. Is that gonna work? Yeah, it's gonna work. Okay. Wait, no. Yeah, that'll work. Uh, okay. All right. Right, it says LOL dusty ancient gown. Yeah, I mean if it's been in that chest, maybe it's not so dusty, but how do you get something like that? Does really know how to dry clean 200-year-old dresses? And again, who did Maggie's hair? What time is it? If she left at 3:20, how long did it take to do her hair and hide her for the guys to show up? We're not supposed to think about it. A hairdresser kidnapped her, and no. Episode 237 aired on May 23rd, 1967. That's today. Different year. It's still day 66, but it's morning now. We're in the foyer at Collinwood, and Victoria is on the phone to Sam. We can't see him. We just know because of what she's saying. She's talking about, well, I'm sure they'll find her. I'm gonna be going out later myself to look for her. I'll stop by the cottage later. And okay, bye. Just hangs up. That's when Jason is coming down the stairs. Yeah, back. Well, we have all trades. That's why Barnabas picked him. LOL. Yeah, he's probably a fast learner. He doesn't sort of have a choice, so maybe he bought a dry cleaning book, and yeah, so he just got really good at that. I don't know how fast fabric deteriorates, if it would last 200 years. It certainly hasn't been sitting out in the sun or anything like that to deteriorate. Jason comes downstairs and he's saying mentions how that phone's been ringing off the hook all morning in so many words. Victoria tells him that Maggie has disappeared. She went to the hospital late last night. The nurse left her alone for a minute and then she was gone. Jason says, "You mean she got up out of her sick bed?" Victoria, "No one knows. It's possible someone took her out." The nurse left the room to call the doctor because Maggie seemed to be dead. Jason, I find that hard to believe. I wouldn't want to be confined in that hospital. So there's a knock at the door. Victoria answers. It's Burke and the sheriff. They haven't found Maggie yet, but Victoria invites them in. And then Burke introduces the sheriff to Jason. And the sheriff says, "Yeah, I've seen you around Collins before. I've been meaning to have a chat with you." Jason, "Well, I look forward to that." So they're heading into the living room, and the sheriff says, "Would you join us?" Jason, I was actually on my way to work. Sheriff says, "I think it'd be good if you heard this." So he joins them, and then I was thinking, how does he get to and from work? Because it's not like, well, Roger's not going to let him borrow a car. He's certainly not going to borrow Carolyn's car. Elizabeth doesn't have a car, so does she have to buy him one? He's not going to take the bus. He's not going to walk to the cannery, so she had to buy him a car, I'm sure. Wait, he's got his own car. That's right. All right. I'm sure we would find a reason to get another one. Oh, that one's so old. I could use a new car. 1967, 66 Mustang or something like that. But they're in the living room. They all sit down. Well, Jason stands over by the fireplace, but the other three sit down. And Victoria mentions to Bert, like, "You look tired." He says, "Yeah, we searched all night. I've only had 2 hours of sleep." The sheriff says, "Well, Burke and I had breakfast together and discussed the case. There's not one clue. The bloodhounds just walked around in circles. And I've called the county and the state police. So we just have to run on the assumption that some person or persons took her." So Burke says, "Well, I told him about the phone call saying that Maggie was at Eagle Hill Cemetery." Victoria's like, "Well, that's right. The voice was muffled." Sheriff says, "That's a good indication that it's someone you know." "What did they say?" Victoria, "Well, that Maggie was in the cemetery and to hurry." Sheriff asked her, "Did anything unusual happen before that? Did you talk to anyone? Anyone? Anybody?" Victoria, "Well, yes, Willie Loomis came by." Sheriff, "Was his behavior unusual?" Victoria, "Well, He's always a little bit odd. When I told him Maggie was missing, he became disturbed. Sheriff asks her, "How long after he left did you get that phone call?" Victoria, "About 10 minutes." Sheriff, "But the voice on the phone have been Willie." Victoria, "I can say either way." Sheriff says he's going to have a talk with Willie Loomis. So Jason offers to show him to the door. And Jason's saying on the way out, since you don't know Willie, I should tell you, he's the kind of man who's very easily misunderstood. Sheriff says, well, he's been involved in some incidents in Collinsport. For those misunderstandings, Jason, most of them, I'm sure. Sheriff, he's got a police record. Jason, well, he spent some time in jail, but it wasn't for anything criminal. It was just a, sheriff, a misunderstanding. Jason, that's it exactly. Sheriff asks him, do you have a police record? Jason, oh, I'm sure you checked me out at the same time as Willie Loomis. Did you find anything? Sheriff, no, you seem to be clean. Jason, oh, I am. Sheriff, do you have any information that could be helpful to this case? Jason, I wish I did. Sheriff takes off. Over in the living room, Victoria and Burke are standing there by the window, and Victoria is saying, where could she be? I don't think it'll be as simple as searching for her. Everything that's happened to Maggie lately is strange. One thing that disturbs me the most is the nurse said she was dead. Burke says, I'm going to have a talk with that doctor right now. The nurse probably made a mistake. So we're at the old house. The door to the foyer is just open. I guess Willie likes fresh air. The door is just hanging out open. So I mean, the sheriff knocks. Hello. Nobody answers. So he just walks on in, wanders into the drawing room. He notices the portrait of Barnabas, looking around, and sort of moseys on over that door that Maggie just came out of the other episode. He sort of heads off in that through that door. He's just checking the place out. So he's not technically in the drawing room when Willie comes downstairs, and he's holding this box. It looks like a wooden box. And he's just looking down at that, walks up to that big stand up floor candelabra thing. And there must be candles in that box because he's taken out the used up candles to replace them with fresh ones. But he really only gets a couple of those taken out because that's when the sheriff steps out. He says, Loomis. So Willie freezes and he turns around, looks at the sheriff. Sheriff walks up to him. He says, you're Willie Loomis, aren't you? Willie's, yeah, I am. Sheriff, what's the matter? Willie, I didn't expect to see anyone. He took me by surprise. He's just placing the candles, putting the old ones in the box, putting in new ones. Sheriff tells him, well, the door was open. I knocked and no one answered. Is Mr. Collins here? Willie, no, he isn't. Sheriff, well, when do you expect him back? Willie, tonight sometime. Sheriff, actually, it was you I wanted to talk to. I'm investigating the disappearance of Maggie Evans. You know her, don't you? Willie, I know her. Sheriff, can you account for your time from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. this morning? Willie, yes, sir, I was in Bangor. Got back this morning. Sheriff, is there anyone who can testify to that? Willie, yes, sir, Mr. Collins can. Is that all? Sheriff, no. This is the second time Miss Evans has disappeared. I want to ask you about the first time. Willie, I can tell you right now, I don't know anything about it, sir. Sheriff, were you anywhere near Eagle Hill Cemetery? Willie, no. Sheriff, that night you went to the Evans cottage and spoke to Victoria Winters, and she told you Maggie was missing. She said you seemed very disturbed when she told you that. Willie, well, yeah, I was worried about her. I mean, she's a nice girl, and I hope she was all right. Sheriff, what did you do when you left the Evans cottage? Willie, I came back here. Mr. Collins can tell you. There's a clock on the mantle. We can sort of see it. It's about 10:20 a.m. ish. We can see the hour hand, not the minute hand. The sheriff asks him, "Did you make any phone calls?" Willie, there's no phone here. Sheriff, did you make any phone calls at all? Willie, no. Sheriff, didn't you call the Evans cottage to have another talk with Miss Winters? Willie said, no. Sheriff, you didn't tell her that Maggie was up at the cemetery. Willie, did she tell you I did? Sheriff, I'm asking you. Willie, well, I didn't, honest. Sheriff says, Loomis, you listen to me. If you have any information about this case, you better come out with it. Willie says, I don't. I swear I don't. Sheriff, your police record is sitting on my desk. A lot of strange things have happened in Collinsport since you showed up. If you step out of line, I'm going to send you back to prison to do hard time. Is that clear? Police. Yes, sir. The sheriff's heading out, then he says, if that girl turns up dead, I'm going to book you on suspicion. So if you were sus back in the day, you could be arrested for it. That's how serious it is. But now we're at a different new location. This is just Dr. Woodard's office, whatever you imagine a doctor's office to look like. It's very officey, nothing really special about it. Victoria and Burke are there. Victoria asks, just how could the nurse say Maggie's dead? Dr. Woodard says, because the exam showed she appeared to be dead. For that, she was putting up a fight, but remember, she was close to death several times before. Burke says, can't we assume the nurse made a mistake? Dr. Woodard says, you could assume what you like, but I trust her. As far as she could tell, Maggie was dead. Burke, she was dead. That means someone took her body. Woodard, it's possible the blood after the blood loss, Maggie went into shock, and then she went into a catatonic seizure, which would have made her seem dead. I've contacted some of my associates to see if they've ever had a case similar to this. Victoria, there is a case similar to this. Willie Loomis. Doctor says, I never got a chance to follow up with him, and he seems to have recovered. Says to Burke that it might help to get Willie in here so we can, examine him again. Burke's like, well, you let me know when, I'll get him in here. Woodard says, I still can't figure out what those punctures wounds on Maggie's neck mean. All right. So now it's later on. It's got to be around sunset, like the sun is still up. Willie's in the drawing room, and he's down there on the floor. He's got a hammer, and it's weird because he's messing with the table, like he's gonna be hammering on it, but he doesn't get very far. He just gets it lifted up so high. Then there's a knock at the door. That makes him jump. Yeah, now he's got the door closed. So he's more apprehensive now. He goes over to the door. He opens it up. And like as soon as he gets it off the latch, there's Jason pushing it in so far so he can basically get his half of himself in the door. I'm really surprised I get Jason. Jason says, I want to have a little chat with you. Willie says, I can't. I've got a lot of things to do. I can't talk to you now. Jason says, are you closing the door on me? I'm going to have a few words with you, whether you want them or not. So he pushes the door the rest of the way in, walks in, standing there in the drawing room. Willie's still standing there. He's got that hammer, but he's got it. He's holding it down by his side. We really can't see it that well. It's still in his hand, though. Jason says, I'll make this fast. The sheriff questioned you today. What did you tell him? Willie, nothing, not a thing. Jason, he's trying to pin the disappearance of that girl on you, isn't he? Willie, he can't. He got no evidence. Jason, but can he get evidence? Willie, no. Jason, are you sure? You had nothing to do with it. Willie says, I got a lot to do. Jason says, don't try to give me the bum's rush. The sheriff and everyone think you're suspicious, and because of that, they're looking really hard at me. I have a great deal at stake here, and I'm not going to let you ruin it for me. Now I want you to quit your job and move on. Willie, I can't. I want you to get out of here now. I don't want to talk to you or see you anymore. Come on, get going. Jason, Willie, don't get pushy with me. So Willie raises up the hammer. Says, I told you to get out. Jason takes about a half a step back. He's like, are you raising that hammer at me? Willie says, Jason, you get out of here and you never come back. So Jason starts laughing at him. So Willie raises the hammer up and he starts to swing. He gets about mid swing on him, but Jason knocks the hammer out of his hand. Then he slaps him. Willie goes down. And then while he's down, he gets a couple more punches in. They do the I don't know how they were doing sound effects before. It's like a type of like somebody's just off camera doing like that's their sound effects. But he gets about like 4 or 5 punches in on him. And his face was just healed too. He did not have any marks on his face at all, and now he's getting punched in the face again. But we see Willie now. He's down on the ground. He's bloody lip. Jesus, it's just a sample of what you're gonna get if you don't clear out of here. You don't do exactly what I tell you. I'm prepared to go all the way. You know I will. Jason leaves. Please pushes himself up. He takes a handkerchief out of that vest. He wipes blood off his lip. then it's nighttime in the woods. It's Jason. He's walking through, but he stops when he hears howling, and it's not just howling. It's there's dog snarling, barking sound. There's the howling going on. It's like it's coming from all directions, and Jason just seems nervous. He's wandering around, almost like he's lost. And he honestly looks scared. We've never seen him look scared before. I don't know if something's coming up on him or he's just afraid of the sounds, but dude actually looks scared for once. And then we see the drawing room for the credits. I hope you stuck with me, microphone, because these were some good episodes. You do want to watch these for yourself on Tubi. There's a link in the description for the channel and for the show. And let's see what else is there. I do have super chats opened up. I've got Venmo and Buy Me a Coffee. That goes directly to myself. You're not paying Google 30%. I'm not spending it on hookers and blow. Your money stays in the United States. And I read your comment at my next show. So those help me out. If you got a few extra bucks, if not, it's cool to just see everybody show up. I get so excited to see you guys, and then suddenly 2 hours goes by, and yeah. So that was fun. Right, says Philly must be a wimp. How you lose a fight when you have a hammer, dude? I know, right? I think what it is, like Willie still like that was his friend for a long time, so he's more telling Jason to fuck off because Barnabas is making him. It's just the situation got out of control when Barnabas came on the scene. So like maybe there's that part of him like I don't want to hurt my friend, but like George did have a hammer, so it's just I don't know. Maybe he was thinking, what? Well, if I hit Jason, Jason might tell people that I hit him, and then they're going to have to start asking Barnabas questions, which just means Barnabas is going to hit Willie in the head with his chainsaw. So it's maybe he just got so far, and I think he really was just doing it to scare. But like, dude, you have a hammer though. I know what you're saying, man. If I got a hammer, dude, I'm swinging on you. I don't care. So they're about the same height too, but it's like when somebody has a gun and they get that close in the face of somebody else, so they can just grab their hand and take the gun away. And it's like, right, man. I'm just so happy I had a prop for this. I was watching this, like, wait, I've got my hammer. I don't have candlesticks, but I've got a priorities. I mean, I can't just hold up a tea light. That's not very sexy. But Dandy says these are fun to watch after seeing Nikki's coverage. Oh, cool! So you watch these first, then watch the episodes. That's fun. Cause I watch the episodes, then I watch these. Cause I watch my shows back. It's because when I'm talking about it, I'm sort of remembering the episode, and then when I watch it back, I'm sort of remembering the episode, and yeah, so that's fun. Um, and he says, "Great night, glad I was here. Was able to be here this week. Yeah, I'm glad you made it too." Lisa says, "Love you, thank you. Yeah, thank you guys too. You guys are the best. Thanks for being here and being sexy and based and awesome and being out on the balcony with your pants off." We don't say that at the beginning. That's just an understood thing that we do. So yeah, everybody, take it easy. Have a good night. Get some good sleep. Get something to eat. Take care of your health, like I'm having to do. Just 'cause they need a blunt or pre-roll. Yeah, yeah. Willie is. I mean, he's paranoid all the time too. So I don't think he's ever thinking anything through clearly. So he's trying to threaten Jason, but he doesn't want to hurt him. And plus, if he hits Jason and he bleeds on the floor, that's just something else he has to clean up. So that's just more work for him. And who did Maggie's hair? But Maggie's not dead. Definitely watch 235 for yourself. Like check out Sam. Like that whole episode is just emotional. and then watch the very next episode for the doctor. Oh, it's one of my favorite clubs. Not the best one, but that's one of the best ones so far. But John Rogers says, "Have a great night, everyone." Yeah, you too. Have a great night. Have a great. Dandy says, "Thanks, Nikki. Have a great week." Yeah, everybody have a great week. I'll definitely see you guys in a chat room. Yeah, this is running over a little bit. But yeah, take it easy. Just have a good time until we see each other again, and then we'll be doing the roughly the same thing with different episodes a week from today. So I love you guys again. You're all the best. You guys make all of the bullshit worth it. We'll see you guys again soon. Brian says, "Good seeing you, Nikki, and everybody." Yeah, good seeing everybody. Everybody here is awesome. So I love you guys again. You guys are all the best. Oh, Thomas Collins says, "Happy summer." Yeah, I hope so. Until next time.